So there's a big difference between hearing somebody speak and listening to what they're saying. Listening to the nuances and what they're actually really articulating to you, what they want you to really hear. But many times we hear somebody, but we're not really listening. So in this success principle, we are talking about creating relationships. In fact, the beginning of this principle, number 48, actually moves us on to creating successful relationships as a whole. We've got different parts of the book, and so today's principle actually starts us off with being here now, which has to do with creating successful relationships. So what does be here now mean? Well, the art of meditation and mindfulness has catapulted in terms of its popularity. And one of the biggest reasons is because we are becoming less attentive each and every day, or that's what we've been told. So when we ground ourselves and we start to listen in rather than hear what we think we're hearing, there's a big difference in how we show up in the world and how we communicate in the world and who we are in the world. And so today's principle is all about sharing a couple of questions that are going to help you to transform. I'm only going to share with you 2 out of the 4 so you can go and get encouraged to buy the book. Again, it's Jack Canfield's Success Principle, and it's just going to help you to really, I guess, connect with other people. Sometimes we get disconnected because we are sometimes too busy hearing, too busy with our own stuff, too busy in our own heads. And so being here now, this success principle is about really connecting with somebody on that deeper level. One of the best, most probably biggest, greatest lessons I've ever learned in sales is to listen with 2 ears and 1 mouth, in that order. And I didn't hear that from a guru of some sort. I learned that just through experience. I learned that because I'm not a massive talkative person. If you see me in the group, I'm probably going to be one of the quietest people there. Now give me a stage and I'm going to be talking to you on that stage, but only for that period. I'm not going to over talk. The deal with me is I like to listen because I know so much information about me, but I hardly know enough about you or other people. So why would I be talking more than I'm listening? It just wouldn't make sense to me. So my challenge to you is to really start listening. And it's a challenge that's not just a set and forget thing. It's a continuous thing. It's something we do on a regular basis because we can easily get distracted. The world is vying for our attention. We are constantly distracted, told to be distracted. Emails, messages, news, all of those things distract us in a good or negative way, depending on how distractible you really are. So the job here is to really cut out the noise, really drop into our heart, into our soul, and find out what really does move us, what really does help us to be the best version of ourselves. If that best version of ourselves isn't the person that's listening, then we need to think again. So, some key things before I go into the questions. Argue less and listen more. Sometimes when we're in a conversation and it comes to an argument, you've got to think, do I value being right or do I value this relationship? That's just not in the book, but it just comes to mind, right? Sometimes people argue because they want to be right. Now, do you want to argue and be right, or do you want to argue to save the relationship? And argue to save the relationship means sometimes just listening, really listening, not getting dragged into the drama, not getting dragged into other stuff that perhaps is not even relevant for the conversation, but the person might bring it up. You might be ready to bring it up. Listen. And I remember watching a masterclass with a former CIA agent. His name's Chris something, and he talks about how when we're listening, he talks about the art of negotiation, and when you're listening and you're feeding back to somebody, instead of saying, I hear what you're saying, do this instead. Say, it sounds like. Because when you say, I hear what you're saying, that's going to be completely different to what's actually being said. It's your interpretation. But it sounds like is much more from what you've actually said. I'm just repeating it. And it's just a really good, quick way for you to really engage in a conversation. and to gain clarity, because there are some key missing pieces in conversation sometimes that we just didn't get and we assume. So always getting clarity always is helpful. Be interested rather than interested. Now this is in the book. Be interested in the person, what they have to say, what they're really looking forward to, what excites them up, what brings them joy. That's going to really help you with connection and creating relationships that are powerful, because you're going to remember lots of things about them. You're going to be able to bring that up in conversation, and it's going to help you to really connect and bond and have more things to talk about. So let's go on to the powerful questions. So like I said, I'm only giving you 2 out of 4, so that I'm encouraging you to go and buy Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, on Amazon.co.uk or Amazon.com, or wherever you see it. Every reputable good bookseller. Now, one of the questions is, if we were meeting 3 years from today, what would have happened during the 3-year period for you to feel happy about your progress? I like questions like this. I like asking people questions and just leaving it there and letting them answer, because it's so insightful. But I'll repeat it again. If we were meeting 3 years from today, what has to have happened during that 3-year period for you to feel happy about your progress? Right, even ask that question for yourself. If I was to meet with you 3 years from today, what would have happened in that time for you to feel happy about your progress? All right. Second question. This is in no particular order, and again, I'm encouraging you to go get his book so you can get as much value out of this as possible. What are the biggest opportunities that you would need to focus on and capture to achieve those things? What are the biggest opportunities that you have that you would need to focus on and capture to achieve those things? You probably can hear in the background bear noise. Just my disclaimer, my children are loud people. Okay, so what are your biggest opportunities that you have that you would need to focus on and capture to achieve those things? So that's obviously based on the first question I gave you, but there's 2 other questions that you're not going to be able to find unless you go and read his book. So ask people about these questions. Learn these questions for yourself. Ask yourself these questions. It will give you so much great insight into people's sort of aspirations and where they're heading, and perhaps it might help them to understand where they're heading, and the actual habits that they're actually generating and utilizing every day are not helping them achieve that 3-year goal. So today's all about creating relationships. How can you go out into the world and create new relationships with people, or just existing ones, enhance those, by utilizing these questions, by listening, not just hearing, and by being interested, not just interesting? That's my question to you. In the comments, please let me know what your next steps are, what you're going to be doing, because there is no transformation from information without implementation. Thumbs this up if this has served you in any capacity, even if it just like gave you a little light bulb moment. That served you. So please thumbs this up. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. This is number 48 now? 48. And so the Success Principle playlist should be around here somewhere for you to go and completely binge on the content that's going to help you to go from where you are to where you want to be, using Jack Canfield's Success Principles and a few of my peppered little nuggets in between all that. This has been the S.H.E channel, where we shift, heal and expand. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you contribute by just adding value, by just watching and giving me your time. So thank you.